There's a Arab theologian of the 8th century, St. John of Damascus, and he said, if God truly became man in Christ, then you can paint him. So the basic idea is that it demonstrates the reality of the incarnation of God become man, and of his mother and of the saints, who are all real human beings, but also, in the case of Christ, fully God as well. In the way you might have a picture of your loved one and might kiss it if you were away for a long time, then we venerate, as we say, the image we give, the love that we give to the icon passes over to the person who's depicted on the icon. So it's a way of bringing God nearer to us, perhaps.
So this particular icon, hence the name, the Kursk Root Icon, comes from the Kursk region of Russia. It was first discovered there in the late 13th century in the roots of a tree and miraculously appeared. And from this initial discovery, a monastery grew around that area, and the icon remained there most of its history up until the early 20th century. Now, in the intervening periods, there were many miracles associated with this icon, many miraculous healings and things like this. And even on one occasion, it was chopped in half by some people who'd invaded the region, and the priest held the two pieces together and they miraculously rejoined. And you can still see the mark to this day where the split took place. Now, in the early 20th century, after the Russian Revolution and the subsequent Civil War, the White Russians evacuated from Crimea, and because of the onset of the destruction of many churches and holy places at the hands of the Bolsheviks, they preserved as many holy things as they could, including one of them being the Kursk Root Icon. It left Crimea in the early 1920s with the first massive wave of immigrants, arrived in Constantinople, and then for about 2 decades was based in Yugoslavia, where the Synod of the Russian Orthodox Church abroad was based. During World War II, because of the security situation in Yugoslavia, it was moved to Germany, where our synod was temporarily based, in Berlin and then in Munich. After World War II, our synod moved to New York City in about 1950, and ever since then the icon has been based in our synodal cathedral of Our Lady of the Sign in Manhattan. The icon itself has travelled far and wide, and after having left its homeland in Russia, it was a comfort to the people who were exiles, and the Russian diaspora was spread all over, and the icon has been brought to them to comfort them in their detachment from their homeland, and also to bring a tangible witness to the faith to all the new people who have come into the Orthodox Church in the subsequent century since then.
The Spanish Maritime Museum in Madrid shows a massive statue of the Virgin Mary above Catalan Bay in about 1750 that nobody seems to know what happened to it. So this is, I think, a place that has been a particular, and of course the cathedral here is dedicated to St. Mary the First Crowned. So it's, I think, significant for Gibraltar to have this visit. And in some of the places where we're a bit sketchy with numbers, but certainly there are places where the icon has travelled where the number of people who've come to see it and to venerate it have run into hundreds of thousands, which if this happens in Gibraltar will be quite interesting.